Andres is running some routine software tests. At first, everything looks pretty normal, but then he spots something. This peak here is not a typical CPU load. Not a huge problem, but it's annoying. Plus, he can't make sense of it right away. Little does Andres know that this is not just some random bug. It's a cleverly hidden backdoor. One that's been planted over years by hostile forces, possibly state-sponsored hackers. Now it's set to spread globally and give the perpetrators access to millions of servers around the world. To the systems of hospitals, companies, and entire governments. A master key to the internet and everything connected to it, right in the hands of criminals. Andres doesn't know about any of this yet, but he's about to literally save the internet. To understand this story, we first need to take a little detour into software engineering and a very particular little piece of code. A lot of software out there is company-owned, like Word, which belongs to Microsoft. Only Microsoft employees can tweak and further develop that software. But then there's software that is open source. It works kind of like Wikipedia. The source code is out in the open for anyone to see and use. Basically, anyone can contribute and suggest changes. That has led to the creation of many programs that are fundamental to our digital infrastructure. While anyone can pitch in on open source projects, there are usually a few people in charge. These so-called maintainers have the final say on the code and review any changes before they get implemented. Lasse Collin is one of these maintainers. He has been working for years on the Linux tool xzutils. Linux is the most widely used open source operating system in the world. You may not be running Linux directly on your own computer, but it powers most of the world's servers, mainframes, and every single one of the top 500 supercomputers. XZ is a data compression format included in pretty much all major Linux distributions. A Linux distribution is like a full package of all the essential programs your computer needs to run. Different distros are designed for different purposes. xzutils compresses and packages data so it can be transferred and stored faster. It's kind of like zip files. Collin developed the tool back in 2005. As its maintainer, he has been in charge of all changes to xzutils ever since. He reviews suggested edits and then approves them, or not. Once the approved changes are in place, a new version of xzutils can be included in Linux distros. But lately that process has hit a bit of a snag. 2 volunteer developers are not happy with how Collin has been handling his maintenance duties. They feel like he's way too slow in responding to change requests and messages. Dennis Enns is clearly frustrated when he asks for updates.
I asked a question here a week ago and have not heard back.
Jigar Kumar also seems fed up with how slow things are moving.
With your current rate, I very doubt to see 4.0 release this year. The only progress since April has been small changes to test code.
He even suggests that they might need a new maintainer.
Dennis, you are better off waiting until a new maintainer happens or fork yourself. Submitting patches here has no purpose these days. The current maintainer lost interest or doesn't care to maintain anymore.
Lasse Collin appears to be struggling with the workload. After all, his work on xzutils is just an unpaid hobby. But Enns and Kumar clearly want someone who can dedicate more time to the project and respond faster to their suggestions. In response to Kumar's message, Collin writes,
I haven't lost interest, but my ability to care has been fairly limited. Mostly due to long-term mental health issues, but also due to some other things.
He also says,
Recently, I've worked off-list a bit with Jia Tan on xzutils, and perhaps she will have a bigger role in the future. We'll see.
Jia Tan first pops up on the developer platform GitHub in January 2021. For over a year, she contributes to other projects. Then, in 2022, she starts submitting changes for xzutils. From that point on, she becomes a regular contributor. Tan is dedicated and polite. She writes friendly messages and helps out wherever she can.
Nice job to both of you for getting this feature as far as it is already. Let me know your thoughts on these patches when you have a chance. Is it good enough or did I add bad bugs? Just trying to do my part as a helper elf.
Maybe after getting all those annoyed messages from Ensign Kumar, Colin is just relieved to finally have some help. Someone to lighten the load and actively push the project. At one point, Colin explains that a maintainer needs the skills, time and interest to really stay committed to the software. And Jia Tan seems to check all those boxes. Back then, Colin doesn't realize that something is seriously off about her. This video hopefully offers a glance into the fascinating world of programming.